David here with Figboot on Pens. Today I have for you something a little different that I felt was pretty cool. It's a review of a brand new custom paper company by the name of the Blank Slate Paper Company. What I'm going to do today is go over the features of this unique custom paper service, show you how you go through the ordering process, I'll provide a writing sample, and then show an ink test on the paper itself. Blank Slate is the brainchild of Dave and Kelly Ray, who are based out of Rochester, New York. Their goal was to create a way to bring the same level of personalization to paper that we enjoy in our pens and pencils and inks. They spent over a year developing the concept and the product, and finally launched in late January of this year. I spent some time with Dave at the DC show last year and discussed the development of his venture, and was glad to be able to finally be able to check it out. Quick aside, you might be familiar with Dave's brother, Andrew Ray, the man behind the popular YouTube cooking channel Binging with Babish. In regard to Blank Slate, all of Dave and Kelly's hard work has really paid off because their site looks fantastic. Every pad is printed to order and then bound and assembled and packaged by hand. I know a number of people who have already placed and received their orders, and no one that I have spoke with has experienced any issues at all with the ordering process or the product they received, which is great to hear. Any startup company is going to experience issues, but it looks like Blank Slate has gotten off to a fairly smooth launch, which is nice. Now, the key element of the Blank Slate Paper Company is the ability to customize. And when I say customize, I really mean customize. Now, you can spend a ton of time messing around with all of the options. It's fun to play around with the different looks. I'm not going to go into all the different ways you could customize the paper, but essentially you could do whatever you want. One of the really neat things about Blank Slate is their nimbleness. What I mean by that is Dave created and maintains the code for the website, which means if he really wants to implement changes or improvements, he can just do it. After checking out the site for the first time and placing an order, I was able to provide some feedback and suggestions on how the site and ordering process could be potentially improved. And Dave was able to implement a number of my suggestions. I know that a number of other people assisted in this beta process as well and provided their feedback. And it really shows. For an ordering process that can potentially feel daunting and overwhelming, the site really does a good job of walking you through the myriad of customizations. As part of the beta program, I actually purchased 3 pads, each at a 20% discount. So let's take a look at the site. Here it is. The pads are currently available in the A4 size. You start off by naming your design. If you like, you can choose to start with a template of standard and popular designs. Check this out. You can even have multiple designs on the same page. Here's an example where you have a dot grid on top and a reticle grid on the bottom. Or there's this design here where there's actually 8 different colors cascading down the page. I know it's a little hard to see here. If you're really unsure of what you're looking for a flat $5 that includes shipping, you can actually receive a sampler pack of the different paper offered. So you literally get the feel for the paper's weight and smoothness and tooth, and see how it works with your favorite fountain pens and inks. For what I ordered, I was looking for a paper with just straight horizontal lines with no margins, kind of like this. You can change the spacing between the lines and the line weights, even the color of the line. And you're not limited to just these 14 colors. You have the entire color spectrum at your disposal. What I did is I got the hex color code for the uniforms for my favorite baseball team, and I created lines using that color. Once you're set with your design, you actually choose the paper. Blank Slate offers 2 paper options. There is HP Premium 32, which at 120 GSM is a little bit heavier and a thicker paper with kind of a coated feel to it. And then you have Dotmar Bold 28, which is 105 GSM and has more of a smoother grain, which really holds up with wetter inks. After you add it to your cart, there's even the option to make this pad a gift in case you're purchasing these as a gift. And I'll show you in a moment why that's an important feature. enough talk about paper. Let's actually look at some paper. And in order to do that, please join me over here at camera 2. First of all, on the Blank Slate site, you can print out this guide sheet, which shows you what the different sizes and weights of lines look like. And it's helpful to see them on the page because it's one thing to see them on the computer, but then another thing when you can actually see what it looks like on the page, which is a kind of a nice feature. And then once you receive your paper, this is what arrives. You open up the cover and you can see here that there is a cover page and that this cover page, actually I have torn it off, that here it actually has the name of your design. This particular one, I had not named my design until after I had placed the order, but then it also has your name right here. You could also, remember when I showed during the ordering process, you could order this as a gift. You could actually order this as a gift and it will have your giftee's name on there that you entered during the ordering process. The binding has tearaway pages, and for right now, it is front side printing only. The back is blank, but they are looking at the option of duplex printing, which is actually printing on both sides. The cool thing with that is the prospect of actually having two different rulings, one on the front and then one on the back. It's tough to see here, but these lines are brown. And then here is a different pad that I ordered, and this pad is just the straight midnight blue. Now, I enjoy these designs for a specific reason, that these pads really won't work for me on a daily basis, because at work, I kind of need pads that pretty much fold back. Like I use these Nemocene pads at work, which I do really care for. And on a daily basis, I have it. And then I kind of fold back each page on a daily basis so that I'm not tearing off a new sheet for every day, which you really can't do with this particular paper. And that also, when it comes to, I really never quite worked or liked this margin line right here. And so, especially when I'm doing my writing samples for my reviews, I was always I had to start here at the line and over, and I felt like I was wasting some paper. So, my purpose for these blank slate pages, or blank slate pads, is to use for my writing samples. So I don't have a margin line here, and I could use this entire page. And so you'll see this paper beginning next week for my writing samples. Speaking of writing samples, let's take a look at how this paper performs. Now, I've done a little pre-writing here. This writing up here is with a Pilot Parallel, which is a 2.4 millimeter. And the ink I used was Diamine Red Dragon. And then here's a swab of the ink down there as well. And it absorbed nicely into the paper. And let's take a look at a couple of other pens. First of all, we have a pen from Additive Pens, which is the ACP Double Helix. So we have the Additive Pens. And this ink is Pilot Iroshizuku. Murasaki Shikabue. And then in regard to a bit of a finer line, I have this Sailor 1911 large sea glass. So we have the Sailor, and this is a really nice fine line. This is the large. And the ink of here I'm using here is 3 Oysters Marine Green. Then finally, for more of a medium nib, I have one of my favorite pens I've picked up recently, which is the Pen 18111 Night Sky Sakura. So this is the Pen 18111 Night Sky. And this ink is Robert Oster Bondi Blue. And you can see here that it wrote very nice on here, and it dried fairly quickly as well. In regard to bleed through, there's a bit of bleed through. I mean, on here, I did a rather heavy dose of this ink, and so maybe it's more ghosting than bleed through, especially on the when it comes to using the parallel, that kind of gouges into the paper a bit, and so I would expect a little bit more there. But for the most part, you see a little bit of ghosting, but not a ton of bleed through. So I'm pretty happy with this paper. You might have noticed while I was showing the site, but the price for each blank slate pad is $24 plus shipping. As a comparison, the standard Rhodia pads I used will run you about $9, and a nice A4 Nemosine pad will run you about $17. So this is a luxury product that comes at a premium price. Is it a bit expensive? In my opinion, yes. But this is a startup, and after speaking with Dave about this very subject, what they didn't want to do was start off too low in regard to price, making the company unsustainable. And who knows, as sales grow, there could potentially be some efficiencies of scale which could cause the company to readdress their pricing structure. I feel that Blank Slate brings something new to the table. They offer a quality product with a unique buying experience and a very high cool factor. So there's a lot to like. And I hope the company is successful. I would recommend checking them out. It might not turn into your everyday paper, but I think it's something interesting to add to your writing supplies. I'll put a link below in the notes to their site if you'd care to check it out. Okay, until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.